disagreement in policy should never be a reason to shut down government. Really shouldn't, especially, again, for a period of time that has an impact on the paychecks. I'm sad it has taken this long. I'm glad that we've come to a conclusion today as to how we go forward in the next 3 weeks.
Hopefully now the president has learned his lesson. We cannot ever hold American workers hostage again.
Joining me now, political analyst Peter Mathews. He teaches political science at Cypress College. Peter, good to have you back.
Good to be here.
The president picked this fight, right, way back in December before Christmas. And now it's apparent with the way it ended that he never had any real strategy. He didn't have a plan to win this fight.
No, he did not have a plan to win it. And more than that, it actually is based on a fundamental vision of America, Cyril. You know, will we have America that's inward, that's closed off by a wall, excluding people or immigrants to this country, and even illegal immigrants? I mean, his advisor, Stephen Miller, said that we should limit legal immigration. This is an anti-immigrant vision of America, whereas President Kennedy's vision was a nation of immigrants, being proud of America being a nation of immigrants. And Nancy Pelosi took the President Kennedy's vision and pushed that through by saying no border wall, no wall. And we're going to get the government running again. She did it. And this was a big setback for the president this time, that vision of America.
Okay, look at his latest approval rating. I want to put up the latest CNN poll of polls. So the numbers are pretty clear. 50% disapprove of how the president is handling his job. Only 57% disapprove, I beg your pardon, 37% approve. Do you think there's lasting damage there for the president?
A dismal rating. It's probably never been had in the history of modern presidency. It could be lasting damage because people have seen now what he really is like. You know, does he really want a country that will be inclusive? Do you want to expand his base or contract it? He just kept hammering away at keeping his base by appealing to their xenophobia. And these numbers are pretty stark, and I think they're going to remain for quite a while. It shows that he probably can't win re-election, and we'll see what happens 2 years from now if he even lasts that long, because there's still some hurdles to go.
You see, to me, it's not a clear-cut case. And I ask you this question because I remember early on in the shutdown, it was reported Trump had said his calculus was, well, when it comes election time, voters don't remember or they don't factor in the shutdowns. Essentially, they may blame me for this now, but it won't factor into their vote down the road. That's an interesting calculus, if true.
If it's true, but this is not that far down the road. We're looking at 1.5 years away. The primaries begin actually a year from now. And it'll be in recent memory. And many voters who are independent voters and also some of the Trump voters who had a second look at him once this whole fiasco of the shutdown occurred might be breaking away from him. We saw his numbers drop down. The Republican support that he had from 90% Republican support went down to 83% recently because of this kind of activity on his part. So I think memories are long enough to some of a percent of the voters will still remember what happened just a year and a half ago.
And also, the other big part of this is the story potentially isn't over. I mean, the government has been reopened for 3 weeks, and Donald Trump has already threatened to either shut it down again in 3 weeks if he doesn't get money for his border wall, or if he doesn't get a deal between now and then, or to use the emergency card and get money for the wall that way.
That is very true. In fact, he could just pull this thing over again and do it once again and say, look, you know, the blackmail, so to speak, say, look, you didn't give us me the border wall. Now you only have 3 weeks worth of funding. I'm going to come back at you and say, give me what I need to secure this country, or you're not going to get the funding. You're not going to get the budget. And he could do it over again. That's why I warned against the Congress caving into him, or Nancy Pelosi, and she held strong. And let's see what happens in 3 weeks. He could do it all over again once. We have to be very vigilant about that.
Yeah, and he insisted on Twitter today, well, on Friday, that this should not be seen as a concession or a defeat on his part, and he hasn't said his last word. Peter Mathews, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Cyril. Thank you.